I still remember the first day I met Gary. I thought he was a complete idiot. Rachel was my best friend. Corey was his. Rachel and Corey had been dating for a few months, and for whatever reasons, they thought Gary and I would hit it off. One day, I never even knew Gary existed. The next day, Rachel is asking me if I want to go on a date with him. We didn't meet in the era before cell phones, but camera phones were still a thing of the future, so I had to wait until our face-to-face to see what he looked like. I was relieved to see that Gary was cute. We decided to go to the movie theater. We saw a film he wanted to see. I didn't fully understand certain parts, but the 2 times I asked him questions for clarity, I was shushed. Afterward, we went to go shoot pool. I won the first game. Of course, Gary said he let me win, so I insisted we played another game. After breaking, I didn't get another shot for the rest of the night. I didn't plan on going out with Gary again, but the next party Rachel invited me to, Corey and Gary both happened to be there. What a coincidence. Gary and I struck up a conversation. I decided he wasn't as bad as I first thought and gave him another date. We had our good times and bad times, but overall our relationship was going on 5 years of happiness. We were engaged to be married the following year, but during one of our silent tantrums, something happened that there was no coming back from. We had an argument a few days before my 23rd birthday. For years I couldn't even remember what about. When I finally could recall what the cause was, I wish I hadn't. It was so trivial. Neither one of us had called the other since our fight, and I told myself if I hadn't heard from him by the morning of my birthday, I was ditching him and going out with my girlfriends that weekend. That night before, I went to sleep hoping he would call. Every time I looked down at my engagement ring, I was irritated over how much I missed him and how stubborn he was being. The next day might have been the worst day of my life. I woke up and immediately checked to see if I had a missed call from Gary. My phone was completely dead. My dog must have knocked the charging cord from the outlet like she'd done a time or 2 before. I plugged it back in and I had 3 voicemails. The first message was my uncle telling me he was late putting my present in the mail, but he assured me it would arrive after the weekend. The next 2 messages were from Gary. His first message was at 10:34 p.m. Gary said his boss was demanding that he drive the company truck to the boss's house to drop it off. The boss had just received a big order for the next day, but Gary had taken off to spend my birthday with me. The last message was at 11:48 p.m. Gary said his boss gave him cab fare to get back home. His taxi had just arrived. He said he would call me once more when he got back in. He also said he was sorry for our stupid argument and wished me an early happy birthday. My fiance was never heard from ever again. According to the taxi company, their driver waited outside Gary Boss's house for 10 minutes. No one ever showed up. It's been almost 13 years, but Gary's family says they'll continue to search for answers for as long as it takes them. It took me a while to want to date again after Gary's disappearance, but eventually I met another good guy. Our daughter just turned 10. When we asked her what she wanted for her birthday, her reply was her own cell phone. We agreed to buy her one, but one of the rules was she had to hand it over to us every night at 8 p.m. She was okay with that. Her first day with her new phone, our daughter brought it to us at 8 o'clock like she was supposed to. She hugged us goodnight and then went on her way. I set our daughter's phone on my bedside table and joined her father to watch a movie on TV. The film was over a little past 10 and we were ready for bed. My boyfriend and I lay and talked about our experiences from the day like we normally did. After a short while, an incoming message dimly lit the room, accompanied by a soft tone. It was from our daughter's phone. Who was messaging the 10-year-old 10:30 at night? I grabbed the phone and looked at the screen and read that there was a new voicemail. But when I went to listen to it, there were no messages. There was no missed call either. My boyfriend and I shrugged it off and went to sleep. The next morning, before returning the phone to our daughter, we checked her screen again. And again, a voicemail notification was staring back at us. But yet again, when we navigated through the phone to listen, there were no messages. Since that first time, without fail, as our daughter's phone sits in our room, It receives 2 voicemail notifications each night, one at 10:34, the other at 11:48. There aren't ever any messages left. We haven't said anything about it to our daughter. She says the phone behaves normal when she uses it. Still, my boyfriend wanted to trade it in for another one. I suggested seeing if Gary's family wanted it. My boyfriend was fine with the idea as long as the phone was out of the house. That was 11 days ago. Now I keep it in my car's glove box. I keep telling myself I'm going to call Gary's mother soon.